is that we don't learn to own our space until we learn to be in our space. And for me, learning to be instead of do is an incredibly hard but simple thing. Hard because it's anti-culture in a way, but simple because I know the tools. I've got the tools and I've learned the basics. And I actually enjoy it. I love when I'm the best version of me, when I'm not trying to please and starve for external validation. There was a part of my story that years ago, which is what got me into that space, is external validation was like oxygen to me. And therefore, I went around the world not really ever knowing who I truly was. And so I had no space. My space was your space and yours mine. I had no idea about the concept of boundaries. And boundaries actually can be misunderstood. I misunderstood the concept of boundaries for a long time, and I'm still learning. But I thought boundaries were more about you. I would set those in an attempt to try to change behavior that wasn't working for me in you. I think what I've learned is that boundaries are an inside job. A boundary set is a boundary for me because I'm ultimately the only one that I can change. But when I do work on changing me, it creates and curates safety around the space that I exist and influences change in the people around me, which is really what we're after when it comes to boundaries and curating, owning, and being in our space. Safety, in a sense, doesn't really exist out there. This is my theory and my experience and what I've learned in being in this profession. And we've told people different a lot. I'm going to own that that's an old thought in the helping profession and in recovery circles, is that you need to come out of reconciling your story, doing work around pain, finding redemption, and then you push forward and you look for safe people, safe places. And it's almost like we set up an expectation that's not realistic. We make up that you're going to walk out of here and the world is going to feel like the bubble that you have here at Onsite. And I think that could be a setup. And we've learned from that over the years, because ultimately the world won't feel like this to you. But the idea is that you will begin to feel like this to the world. And that starts with you by changing what you can, the one thing you can, which is you. One of my favorite prayers, and I do this often, probably every day, sometimes multiple times a day if it's a stressful day, is the serenity prayer. And I just think it's so simple but so profound and beautiful. And it goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Honestly, just me saying that, I just took a little bit of an exhale, and I noticed my voice dictation dropped about 3 decimals. I just got relaxed because it's just been so meaningful to me. But another variation of that prayer that has been more action-oriented, I think the serenity prayer in its traditional form has helped relax me, but this version has helped change me. And it's, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the one that I can, and the wisdom to know that it's me. The very first time I heard that, and when I began to recite that, it was almost like from somebody who'd been recovering from trauma, which manifested into codependency, and then I learned everything you need to learn about it as a professional, but it wasn't quite taking root in my relationships, and I wondered what the gap was, and it was I was trying to change the people around me. Despite it knowing everything, having the tools to do something different. And I'm telling you, life got so much easier when I put down the microscope and picked up the mirror and realized I can change me, and the best version of me is the best opportunity I have at influencing change with the people around me. I'm able to set clear boundaries. I'm able to curate space that I can learn to be in, and therefore I can learn to own.